South Africa is currently one of the 10 countries in Africa which is food secured and one of the few countries that's a net exporter of food. However, farming debt in 2017 amounted to more than 158 billion rand, and the cash flow position of farmers, especially in the grain producing areas of the country, has been deteriorating since 2014 and shows very little signs of improving. According to the Agricultural Business Chamber of South Africa, a major driver behind the current position of the agricultural sector is a lack of confidence. To discuss this further, we are joined in the studio by Dawie Mare from FNB Agriculture. Dawie, thank you very much for making time to speak to us.
Good afternoon, Colin. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it looks like there's a serious problem when it comes to making money and the profits going to be distributed to farmers being able to pay their debts. What do you think is causing this?
Colin, yeah, that's a couple of factors that we have to take account of. I think first of all we have a slow recovery after our drought, which started in 2015-16, which head up into 2017. A good year after that with record crops but a very low price, and that's a problem when you have a record crop and a low price following the year after that with a normal crop and still a low price, because we have in the maize area we had a huge carryover stock, and that put pressure on the farmers in terms of the cash flow. We must also take into account that our input cost increased rapidly over those periods. If you look at the fuel price, coupled with that fertilizer and chemicals, which is derivatives of crude oil, so those prices increases substantially over time, which put a pressure on the farmers on the cash flow specifically.
This is very surprising for economists because, during any crisis, people don't stop eating. And you can't say that farmers are left with unsold stock in the silos. So why is there a shortage of cash flow while the goods are moving?
So the demand from the consumers has shifted from the staples to the proteins, because if you look at the meat price, for example, that just increases over the time, while your cash crops, your maize and staple foods, that stayed stable. So it's a changing demand in consumer demand that have driven that as well.
So at the moment, when you look at servicing their debt, are we going to see a crisis in terms of the debt defaulters, or are there going to be significant arrangement in as far as changing or rather shifting the payment arrangements with the land bank, for example?
Yeah, no, fortunately we don't foresee any problems with that. There is obviously, and there will always be in certain areas trouble, and with certain producers there might be some problems. But I think overall we don't see a huge increase into debt problems for farmers. I think they will in future still be able to service their debt, although we might have those pocket of problems.
So what does it mean then for the whole industry in terms of the whole value chain of agriculture, from production, distribution, as well as consumption?
Look, as you've said, our consumers will always have food to eat, or they need food to eat. So we are in the right place. So I think from a value chain perspective, we are in a very healthy industry. Yes, we saw a decline in our numbers in the first quarter, minus 13%. But we must take into account that is a seasonal thing. You can't compare agriculture, one quarter with another quarter. You must compare it to the same quarter of the previous year. And we saw already that it is actually a better quarter, the first quarter of 2019, than it was in 2018. So I think we still have some problems and some issues in terms of investor confidence that we need to sort out. But I think we are on the brink of success in that case. So in future, I think we are still in a healthy sector.
All right. Thank you very much for making time to speak to us.
Thank you, Colin.
All right. Dawie Mare is an analyst with FNB Agriculture, and it's time now for us to get some sporting news.